Good afternoon and welcome to MATC Now, coming to you live from the downtown campus at Milwaukee PBS studios. I'm your host, TC Muzinga. On today's episode, we'll learn about an $84 million agreement made between Milwaukee PBS and the FCC. We'll also take a look at this year's Milwaukee PBS Great TV auction, which is right around the corner. All that and much more here on MATC Now. Welcome everyone. We have a lot of things to talk about today, but first I would like you to introduce our very special co-host, Liddy Collins. Liddy, why don't you tell us about yourself and just let us get to know who you are.
Well, I'm a producer here at Milwaukee PBS. Been doing it over 30 years, working on various shows, Tracks Ahead, Garden, Black Nouveau.
Okay, wow, look at you. Okay, so tell me, what's the best part of your job? Favorite thing to do?
Meeting people, telling their stories.
So you're a people person.
People person.
Who's the most interesting person you've ever met?
Wow, I've met so many and famous people. Everybody,
Wow.
Everybody's interesting. Everybody's interesting.
What famous person did you meet?
Oh, there's so many. I can't even think. The person who just died. I can't even think of the singer who just died from Milwaukee. And I met him, and we did a story on him before he died.
Oh, wow. That's really sad. Wow, geez. Well, you sound like you're pretty much a big deal here, huh?
I want to think so.
It's okay. You can say that. You're a big deal here. All right. Well, great. So thank you for being here. Turning to our first story, the 49th annual Great TV auction is right around the corner. Angelica Rocha shows us it's the same great auction on a great new channel. Let's take a look.
Every year, the MATC students team up with MPBS producers to participate in the Great Milwaukee TV auction. This year being its 49th year, it has not only helped raise funds for MPBS, but has been a hands-on learning experience for students as well.
So we have a lot of students that come and help out. The first years and the second years get involved. They work the cameras, they oftentimes will work in the truck and do stuff that would normally get done in the booth back at the station. So there's switchers and graphics and audio and all of that stuff. And there are professionals as well as students working on all of those items. So really, auction is probably the biggest production that the students get to participate with. We're always welcoming volunteers at Milwaukee PBS as well as here at the auction. You can sign up by calling our volunteer coordinator, Pam Bailing. Her phone number is 414-297-8009, or you can go to greattvauction.com, and I believe that there's a drop-down that says volunteer, and you can sign up there. There also at the website there are descriptions about all of the different areas that people can volunteer in. We have table staging, we have the warehouse, we have the phone bank, we have the commissary, because we feed so many people every day. And of course, a vital part of our system is the pick up and pay, which we refer to as PUP. And so there are volunteer spots everywhere for every level of comfort. So auction will go to air on April 28th at 3 p.m. and we will run every night until 11 o'clock. And then our last day is May 6th, which is a Saturday. And that is when we have like really fabulous items to bid on and lots of great things besides art and trips and just really cool stuff that they should bid on. And that gets mixed throughout the auction, but a lot of the really cool stuff gets saved till the end, so you have to watch all the way through.
Whether you're looking to bid or just check out some live entertainment, be sure to check out Milwaukee's Great TV auction this coming week on Channel 36.
Bidding begins at 3 on Channel 36, Milwaukee PBS. Liddy, can you tell me, you're a part of the auction, correct?
Everyone's a part of the auction. When the auction starts, production stops, and everybody lives and breathes the auction.
Okay, and then I take it you volunteer, correct?
I've volunteered, I've worked the phones, but we're always looking for volunteers. We want people to come out and support us because it goes back into the community.
Sure.
The money earned goes back into the community. And we're
So
always
what's-
looking for volunteers.
For sure. What's it like, when it's auction day, volunteering?
I
Is it
volunteer.
fast-paced?
It can be fast paced. Sometimes it gets a little slow during the day. But people take their vacations around the auction, and they come and they meet their friends. They come once a year and they meet their friends and have fun.
Speaking of vacations, she said the last part stuck out to me. She said May 6th the last day, and there's big trips. And my birthday's next month, so I might have to go there and see what they're offering, right?
Great stuff.
All right, so the diversity dialogues are an MATC organized event with a mission to achieve progress by increasing awareness, responsibility, and action through an intergenerational community dialogue about diversity. Rebecca Wendt gives us more.
What makes Milwaukee unique? There are plenty of reasons why Milwaukee stands out, but what happens when Milwaukeeans stand up?
Great opportunity again for us to get together and have some conversations. And we are thrilled that MATC has fulfilled the role and have planned these monthly dialogue sessions that have been turning out really, really well. We've been having some really, really great conversations, and we're going to continue that today.
A facilitated and progressive discussion workshop called the Diversity Dialogues has enabled people to come from all over the Milwaukee area to talk openly about diversity and what it means for them. The participants are able to share with the group at large and have several small group discussions about various topics within that day's theme. But that's just half of what makes up this distinctive workshop. The other half includes a keynote speaker to lecture about the day's chosen topic. The subject selected for the March 11th workshop was institutional racism and its effects. The idea originated from Nicole Todd, an instructor at MATC.
Last summer, when the unrest in Sherman Park was going on, I was actually on vacation in Door County. And my mother and father-in-law live right down the street, and they've lived in Sherman Park for over 40 years. And they were with us on vacation, and as an MATC instructor and as sort of an extension of this community, because they're my children's grandparents, we felt very helpless, and we wished we could be here, but at the same time we knew that we were safer where we were, and we didn't know what to do. And my thought was, what if there were something where a public gathering where people could constantly talk about diversity and learn about things like institutional racism and implicit racial bias. And it just became something that was not just academic, but a dialogue, so that people could come together and change the circumstances, one person at a time, one institution at a time, that lead to things like what happened with the shooting and the uprisings at Sherman Park, and really try to change Milwaukee, one discussion at a time.
Nicole approached Charlene Moore, Executive Director of Urban Underground, to lead the workshops.
One of the things that we want to see is that not only are we providing spaces for these conversations, but that people actually have something tangible to do, that they can sink their teeth into, to look at what does this look like. Yes, we may be talking about institutional racism, but how does that apply to me, and what is it that I can do about it? That's what we hope that folks walk away with, not only hearing about the different topics that we talk about monthly, but what can I do in my everyday life? What can I do about it? I think people come because we provide a safe space to not only learn, but to actually be able to talk with each other. I think that's probably one of the most critical components that the team was really intentional about doing, making sure that we create the space to provide, where people can come together to have a conversation versus, it be filled with a lot of lecture. It had to be a really good balance of, yes, they are learning something, so there's that teaching component, but at the same time, there's also that dialogue, that opportunity for me to talk to somebody that I may not have ordinarily spoken to, and to have these really rich and genuine conversations.
The Diversity Dialogues are free and open to the public. Be sure to head to Washington High School on Saturday, May 13th from 10 a.m. to noon for the last session of the semester.
It's great to see diversity celebrated here at the campus. Lady, tell me, do you believe diversity dialogue can have an impact in our community, and why?
Yes, I do. Diversity takes the fear out of fearing each other. And in a city like Milwaukee, which is one of the most racist places in the country, having those kind of conversations take away that fear. Plus, taking away the fear has something economics. It helps economics grow when we don't fear each other. Mm-hmm. And so it goes right to the economic base.
Absolutely. And, you know, she also brought up, you know, the uprising at Sherman Park. And I think, you know, I personally think that was like a wake-up call.
It was a wake-up call.
You know, we need to have a conversation on why it's happening and what we can do.
And that was just the tip of the iceberg right there.
Yeah, absolutely. So back to MATC offers so many helpful and comprehensive services that lead to academic success for students, including tutoring opportunities provided at all 4 campuses. Student producers Sierra Hernitz and J.B. Nicholson got a look at the tutoring services department at the downtown campus. Let's take a look.
Well, the basic thing about tutoring services, as with any academic support, is you get more out of learning when you do it with someone else, because you can discuss what you're learning and they can help you to find the meaning for how it relates to you, your life, and your life's goals. Well, I'm a student services specialist for tutoring services, and what that means is that I help to design programs which encourage active learning. What's different these days is that we're taking a much more active approach towards our students' learning. We're providing a lot more subjects that we tutor. We're providing extended places. We have tutoring at all 4 campuses now. We have a lot of people guiding and leading the tutors. That's a big change too.
I am a firm believer in giving back, paying it forward, and actually being able to better smooth things out to help students. I am an educational assistant. That entails me supervising tutors, helping them through the liaison of the instructors and the students that they are set up with, as well as answering any questions in situations that they may not be quite sure how to handle. There are some staffed tutors throughout all 4 campuses, as well as students. Some of them have degrees from UWM, Cardinal Stretch, various different other universities at different levels. Some have masters, some even have PhDs. They are just offering their services to give back.
I like helping people solve problems, and it's nice to see that they're understanding something, and it feels very fulfilling. Essentially, I started here as a math student, and I took a bunch of math classes before. And the first one I thought I was struggling, but I did really well. I got an A, and then the teacher recommended me. So first I wasn't going to take the job, but I realized I really enjoyed helping students. And when I started trying it out, I was really nervous. Then the students started coming in and saying I helped them out a lot, and it felt really good.
All of our tutors, they're getting paid. But sometimes we get tutors as volunteers from outside MATC. They just want to help students. I work as an educational assistant for tutoring services. I hire many tutors for the media and creative arts, and I supervise all tutors in that area. So I would like to elaborate more on the types of tutoring that we have at MATC. The walk-in tutoring, students, they just go into the tutoring center and get help from tutors. No appointments needed for that type of tutoring. The other type of tutoring is supplemental instruction, which is SI we call it, and it's like a group tutoring. Students meet several times a week. Online tutoring, we have a net tutor, and it's available for all students at MATC 24/7, and anytime they can access it from home and on campus. We offer net tutor all semesters, including the summer.
I'd greatly encourage students and tutors to come in and either become a tutor or actually receive tutoring services.
They shouldn't be afraid. No one here judges anyone if they need help with something. Like, we're here to help people. That's our job.
Come to tutoring services. We'll help you to power up your performance.
It's great to see how big of a helping hand tutors really give students here at MATC. Now we are pleased to be here with Tutoring Services Specialist Roxanne Dunkelberger Sanchez. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
All right, so first question I have for you, how does tutoring help students with academic motivation and progress?
Well, a lot of people feel, or a lot of students feel, that the key to academic success is to study hard and long. But basically, it's a matter of knowing not just what to study, but why you're studying it. You need to know what your motivation is. You need to know what it means to you. If students don't have meaning, if they don't understand what the information has to do with their success in their career, they're not going to remember it, they're not going to stay in school, and it's just not going to work out well for the outcomes.
Sure. Going on that, how does tutoring affect the learning outcomes and retention?
Well, one of the things that tutors do is not only go over the subject matter that they're doing, and they do ask active questions. It's a very active session. They're asking open-ended questions, and they expect the student to do most of the work, of course. But one of the big things that tutoring does, or that the tutors do, is that they help the student to understand what the criteria is for success. A lot of students don't know what's expected of them. They don't know what the instructor wants. They have no familiarity with the culture of college. What does it take to get an A? Where am I? Why is it that I'm not succeeding? The tutor helps with that. They talk with the student, and essentially they help to level the playing field. A lot of students come to college maybe better prepared, and they know what to expect. Maybe their parents went to college and they know what's expected of them. What tutors do is they provide the secrets to success. They help the students to know, how do you get from A to B.
Okay. What are the qualities of a good tutor?
Well, one of the biggest qualities is that the tutor is enthusiastic. Tutors are kind of cheerleaders. They really are. Yeah. They provide feedback for the student. They help the student, again, to know where they are in their learning progress. They are observant. They know they're watching what the student is, how the student is learning. A lot of times there are different ways that students learn. Some are more visual, of course, some are more audio, and some are more kinesthetic. A good tutor can really help to power up that student's performance by helping them with that. A tutor helps to break down the material into manageable pieces. Once again, the tutor helps them to have meaning with what it is that they're learning.
Miss Roxanne.
Yes.
You have been awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so thank you for joining us. And next is Michael Fisher tells us about an agreement reached between the FCC and Milwaukee PBS. But first, Joe Carini shows us how the student government is here to help students in need. Let's take a look.
This week, MATC Now sat down with Reggie Adams, Student Government Vice President and Governor of the MATC Downtown Campus, to see how involvement can shape yourself and your learning environment.
Student in government, we're the voice of the student body. So what any sort of issues that students have here on the campus, we're the advocates, and we try to do the best that we can to accommodate every student here on our campus. Things that have been done in the past, we've gotten the M-Card, but now U-Pass system in factor for students who had trouble commuting here on campus.
Student government aids to help students in as many ways as possible.
We've also been involved with getting the daycare involved here on campus. You know, downtown, the majority of its population are pretty much older students whom are, working, have families back at home. And being a parent, that's pretty hard to deal with, being a full-time student and, having those to care for. Right now, currently on our agenda, we're trying to tackle down the issue with these food prices. We have a petition going around.
They also reach out to give back to the surrounding community.
We've recently started last year, where we started compiling toiletries. We've done that. We did 500 boxes. Got them for $250 for men, $250 for women and children, and we started delivering them to homeless shelters around the downtown area. And in the midst of us doing that, it was kind of crazy because we found out a majority of students here are homeless, and a lot of them did reside in those shelters revolving around downtown. So that was really like a mind-opening thing where like we realized how big of an issue that was, and we know how hard it can be for students want to bring that up because no one likes to be pretty much vulnerable. So upon discovering that, we worked close with Student Life, and we even developed the food pantry.
If you're interested in joining student government, they're always looking for interested applicants.
Most def. Students who want to get involved, just come to M324. We can get an application in your hand, hand it to you. You'll have to go through the process of getting, I guess, petitions, people who can advocate for you wanting to join student government. It's pretty nice. You get a meet and greet. You get to meet, the people you'll be advocating for. So get those like 25 plus signatures of MATC students, turn that into Student Life, and the process from there, we'll just vote you in.
MATC, in association with Milwaukee PBS, have reached an agreement with the FCC. Dr. Martin explains the process of how MATC got involved in the auction.
MATC District Board and college leaders began deliberation on whether to participate in the FCC auction in October of 2015. And we engaged our outside legal counsel and broadcast industry experts to help guide our decision.
Changes are going to happen soon, according to the GM of Milwaukee PBS.
Actually, there's going to be no real difference to the viewers because channels 10 and 36, the World Channel, PBS Kids, and Create will continue to broadcast. Probably in about a year and a half or 2 years before all the technical changes are done behind the scenes. And the only thing that will change at that point is we will no longer have the classical radio station, the jazz radio station, and we will not be broadcasting the live traffic cams that are part of our lineup right now.
As Milwaukee PBS celebrates a special anniversary,
Milwaukee PBS, by the way, is turning 60 years old this fall, and the stations were originally developed to serve our communities and bring educational opportunities to the workforce, which really reflects the mission of MATC.
Dr. Vicki Martin, Bodan Zachary are two of the many people behind this deal.
Milwaukee Area Technical College not only put the channel on the air to educate the viewing public, it also offered engineering and production programs to help fill jobs in the emerging radio and television fields. Milwaukee PBS's upgrades will roll out over the next year following an intricate plan the FCC has designed. Nationally, over 1,000 stations will need to make the behind-the-scenes technical and engineering changes. Once Milwaukee PBS's new transmitters are installed, viewers will need to do a channel scan of their television sets to get not just our new position, but those of local commercial stations too.
For more information, visit milwaukeepbs.org/FCC-incentive-auction.
Milwaukee PBS plans to use the funds on transforming lives, industry, and making our community a better place. Now let's find out what's going on around the campus in the MATC Minute. Ticia?
Thank you, Liddy. We have quite a few things going on around campus this week, so let's jump right to it in this minute. Today we have open registration for new and non-program veteran students. The Quadrant Series discusses emotional intelligence at the downtown campus in room 612. The West Allis campus hosts National Library Week in room 213. Earth Day cleanup today at 3 p.m. at the West Allis campus. Please meet in room 137. Tuesday, April 25th has open registration for all students. Wednesday, April 26, 2017, the West Allis hosts Denim Day, a day of awareness for victims of sexual abuse from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. in room 107, and there is an apprenticeship banquet at the Italian Community Center at 5:30 p.m. April 27th, there will be a 5-star food and wine evening held at the downtown campus from 5:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., open to the public. Well, that's all we have for the MATC Minute today. Back to you, Liddy.
Thanks, Ticia. Next, Jesse Longoria talked to Dr. Arturo Martinez about the pre-college program here at MATC that helps students prepare for college. Let's take a look.
My position here at MATC is I'm an Associate Dean for the School of Pre-College. I oversee the Adult Basic Skills programs and also the Office of Bilingual Education at all of the 4 campuses, MATC campuses, as well as a new location that we have set up called Walker Square. It's on 9th and National, where we open up some new activities there. We're running some of our Spanish GED classes there. We're also running some of our career pathway programs there. The School of Pre-College is responsible for working with the students who are interested in obtaining their high school diploma, their GEDs, or to increase their reading, writing, math skills. So we do a lot of the college prep courses for them, and then they go into the college program. But we also do a lot of bilingual courses where we actually work with students who we actually get them into post-secondary programs while they're also learning some of their basic skills areas. So we do a little bit of both. A new program that the Department of Education has put in place, it's called the Ability to Benefit. That allows students without a high school diploma or a GED to be able to still enroll in career pathway programs as long as they continue to be enrolled and complete their GED and participate in a career pathway program. As long as they meet those 2 criteria, they'll be eligible for financial aid. This particular program that we had, we started it off with a original small grant from the League of United Latin American Citizens, LULAC, that actually targeted the Hispanic students, because that's what that grant kind of targeted. And then when we expanded the program with a different grant, even though it was now open to just about anyone, we still noticed that the larger percent of students that we serve were still like 80% Hispanics. And we worked with the schools, the inner city schools that had a large percent of Hispanic students. So we kind of got the more Hispanic students into the program because of the locations of the schools that they were in. People that are interested in the program could actually call this office, area code 414-297-6803. And they call this office and they say, we are interested in this program, we heard about this program, we're interested in this program. Then I can take their names down and I can make sure that they refer them to the right people that will be able to get them registered for those courses.
Well, that does it for our show today. Once again, I'd like to thank Liddy Collins for being part of our show. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for letting me hang out with you.
Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure to tune in next week for our season finale right here on Milwaukee PBS. This has been MATC Now. I'm TC Muzinga. We'll see you next time.